Good morning everyone from Melbourne, Australia. This is ELD Trades and today I'll do a market update for you guys. So let's dive right in. Alright, so since the last report, the last update, which was pretty much a month ago, BTC was up here above the 200 week. I said, it's nice that it's bounced above it, but we'll have to look to the S&P 500, which we'll go to later, and see where we can go from there. Now, we failed, to climb our way to the 200-day. We failed to catch up to the SPX or the S&P 500. And when I noted the let's call it the under performance or, to the SPX, then the BTC just dumped through the 200-week moving average, which is that light blue line, and then continued back down to support, touching support, bouncing, and now it's just going, bleeding into support again with lower highs, which is not good. This support is the 2018 run, right? If we cut this, we have no strong support until around 12 to 13K. High time frame support, you can see it here, but it's more clearly on the weekly. If we do bounce here, right now we are there, so it would be kind of a miracle. It could create a double bottom, and then we would have to go up and flip the 200 week and be on the way to the 200 day, and we'll see from there. Just making a higher low, a higher high, will be a hard reality to do. It would mean breaking the 200 week, right? So that's not easy at all. Now, this isn't that surprising. If you saw my report or if you saw the last video, I said we've been looking at the S&P 500. The interesting thing is, the exact date that I made the last report was when the S&P 500 was at the 200-day SMA, which is that dark blue line. And you can see at the end of my report or video that no matter how strong Bitcoin looks to you, no matter how fundamentally solid your project or just Bitcoin's future looks to you, it still follows the S&P 500, and the S&P 500 follows something else. Everything follows something else. And the bigger the market, the more influence it has. So that's why we have to look to the SPX when wanting to talk about crypto. So we were right here, exactly here, the last video I made, and I said, guys, this is bad. Because historically, first of all, for the S&P to be that much under and backtest the 200-day is very rare. And historically, when it's done so, in this pattern, has been the past two financial crises, which have been the 08 property bubble and the 2000s .com bubble. I'll show you what I mean later. So I said, this is pretty worrisome. I said Bitcoin has, a lot of indicators, historic indicators, that it's bottomed on the weekly, and it still does, like the bullish divergence and so, but it has nothing to do, it can't support itself if the world markets and the macroeconomics don't align themselves nicely with it. So since this 200-day, the S&P has proceeded to dump very strongly. Now, as we're speaking, as I'm talking, it's back at its lowest point, right? Which is support, so it could definitely bounce, right? But if it cuts this support, it has the 200 week, and if it cuts that, oh man, there's a long way down. Now let me show you something. If we go to the weekly, and if we remember this kind of structure, we can go back all the way to 2008, and we can see that in 2008 we made a similar structure where we backtested the 200-day and it began to fumble. It didn't even bounce on the 200 week that time, and in the 2000.com it didn't even touch the 200-day, but it made a very similar structure. If you can't see it or you don't have a good memory, just check this out. This is called a bars pattern. It's allows you to look at fractals. Look at this. So if we adjust it, because we're in a logarithmic scale, so if we adjust it to this, the 2008 fractal or the 2008 movement is very, very similar to now. We have to also acknowledge that the fundamentals or the macroeconomics, such as the high inflation, or we can say that this high inflation, which is so large, historically has never had a soft landing. So you put the two and two and you realize that the world markets are more likely to continue downwards. I'm not going to go into other indices, but the world indices like Germany 30, which are like the top 30 German companies, look like 2008 as well, and so many other things. Commodities are also doing a similar thing. And if we look at the dollar index, the XY, it's pumping like crazy, and that's because people around the world are seeking a safe haven for their currency as their governments or the future of the country is looking bleak. Now, there could be some good news. Usually BTC is inversely correlated to the DXY. So if DXY does proceed to dump, which eventually it should because it's gone so parabolic, then BTC could definitely have a nice time. But guys, like, I know this is mostly a crypto update, and I know I talk mostly about the world markets, but it's so closely correlated. If Bitcoin breaks this support, the last week is at around 17.6K, it's heading towards 12 or 13K. That's just how it is. And if it manages to bounce, then that's great because it will have bullish divergence, but it's a very, very crucial moment. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.